But travel season can also mean cold and flu season. Our next guest says poor diet is partly responsible for people getting sick while traveling. Registered dietitian nutritionist Keri Gans joins us now with some tips on how to avoid getting sick this season. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Of course, so we just ran a study that a lot of people think cold weather is to blame for getting sick, but that is not true. So why are people more vulnerable to getting sick right now?
I think a lot has to do with, as you said up front, earlier, people are traveling more, and with travel comes a lot of stressors. So that's one thing. Being on a plane, being in a car, being susceptible to certain viruses that you might not otherwise be, that kind of can set you up for getting ill more frequently.
And if it's cold and we're indoors more often around people, or if we're traveling, we're in a little capsule with a bunch of people who are, honestly, they're trading germs. So it's time we boost our immune system up to try to keep these colds away from us. So what tips do you have?
Okay. The first one I always say is try to keep stress to a minimum, because stress does have an effect on our body. So maybe, it sounds silly, but maybe 5 minutes of meditation every day. Grab an app to try to do that. And also to kind of keep stress levels down, because again, traveling, the packing, I know me, it's a lot to think about, but if you get a better night's sleep, that can really help how you react to things during the day. So that would be tip number one.
Okay, so don't be like me and wait until the last minute the night before your trip to pack everything and run around the house trying to find things.
That is me as well. Okay. So tip number two that I usually recommend, and a lot of these tips, by the way, should be happening year round. And one of them is to take what's called a postbiotic. And that is not to be confused with what we're familiar with, a probiotic. A postbiotic is a non-living metabolite that is produced outside the body during a fermentation process. And there's been a lot of research, especially on postbiotics, done by its number one leading brand in the category, Epicor, and they found that 500 milligrams a day of postbiotics can really help to maintain our immune health. And think about it this way, if you're like me and you don't love fermented foods, it's like taking fermented foods in a capsule.
Interesting. Okay, because I've heard of probiotics, prebiotics. Okay, so now postbiotics. What else?
Lots of research. And the third tip, and we've heard this a lot, is believe it or not, eat your fruits and veggies. Mom was right.
Of course she was.
We want to do it year round because they're packed with antioxidants. And antioxidants help protect our bodies against free radicals. And also they have anti-inflammatory properties. So it's not that hard to eat some nuts that have vitamin E, which is an antioxidant. Have some, like almonds, have some tomatoes, which are rich in lycopene. Throw it on a salad, throw it in your omelet. Have some broccoli, have a sweet potato rich in vitamin A. It's not as hard as we think.
Right.
You just have to think about it and add more diet on a daily basis.
It sounds like these three tips you gave us are not only going to help us not get sick, but those are ways I think will improve our lifestyles immensely. Keri, thank you so much.
You're welcome.